Okay, so I just got into BioRender, and if you're using an account from TTU, it's actually kind of SSO, single sign-on. So you have to actually get to the right link to use it. You can't just Google BioRender and sign in that way. But I think if you have to get an email or account anyway, I think it will easily be information about that. So let's kind of start at this basic screen, and then we'll kind of look at some other things here. So here's my account information. Just on a side note, has anybody used Canva? You can put very much Canva on science. This is just Canva on science, so I think that you'll be easy to manipulate all that stuff. But so here on the main screen, you can see my files over here. You can see things that are shared with me. These are the things that I'm creating. These are the templates that they have started. And then you really kind of get into different products by doing different things here. So we'll create illustrations, a poster builder, and graph. I think those are the things that I think y'all use the most. And I've actually presented, kind of put together some information. I just attended one of the tutorials, and they were able to share the slides with me, and I modified them for what we're going to look at. So this is what you would open when you start a new illustration. It would look like this. But as we are talking about using this for presentations, I thought you might like to see that feature. So that's what I have here. And I'm just going to present for just a little bit by clicking on this. And it really already takes my slide so quickly into a presenting mode. And we're going to talk about BioRender. And it's really a tool for communicating your research. And then it's a graphics making tool. And you can use it for different cases, presenting like this. You can have grant figures, you can have publications, and you can have posters. And the template for TTU is in the platform.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you put it there, or it was already?
No, it's already there.
Oh,
There's
really?
a whole community of scientists already using it on campus.
Oh, yeah, good to know. We're the last ones.
Well, I don't know if you're the last one, but I think that.
That's okay, never late.
So this is what we're going to cover today. So some basic things about how to get started with icons, brushes, and arrows. And then we're going to create a figure from a template. And then we're going to create a figure from scratch. And then we're going to learn how to export our work. Then we're going to learn how to collaborate in BioRender. And I'll actually add the two accounts here so we can all talk together. And then we'll talk about the graphing and the posters. And I think they kind of consider that beyond the basics. I still consider it a little bit part of the basics. But if anybody's been in here like me, I'm just barely using it a little bit. So you may know some tips and tricks that I don't know, but we can all share around.
So who used BioRender here? Let's see. Who used it?
Okay.
Okay, so if you have questions after this, besides Cynthia, you can go to Ashley.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to start on this one, and here we go. I'm just going to use this slide to build the things. And so, let's back with me. Okay, so let's kind of orientate ourselves to this screen. Once you start a new illustration, you'll land in here, and this is a menu on the side, and then it kind of controls this bigger menu. You can search for everything. Oop, I'm going to get my notes out before I forget something. Sorry about that, guys.
You're good.
So here, we're going to talk about regular and grouped icons. And this menu, let's kind of talk about that for a second. There's icons, the templates. You can see just a few templates here, but you can search for the templates, or you can be back in the gallery where all those templates were living and search for a lot more. Then brushes, graphs, favorites, we'll talk about how to do that, how to upload something. And then I really haven't explored into these. And so let's talk about the difference between regular and grouped icons. But this is kind of getting the basics that they've set up for us in here. And this is really kind of going to be your editing tools across the top. And you can see that this menu is here. Oh, yeah, so I can scroll it around, or I can move it back and forth here, depending on what it is, you know, however I want to do. And then you can make the canvas a certain size. And that's just kind of the standard. And so I might slide that over so we can see a little bit more. Oh, y'all can see a lot better. Okay. So let me go ahead and get over here. I'm actually going to go to cell types. I'm going to unhighlight that because it seems weird that it's highlighted now. What did I do? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to get into cell types. Then I'm going to get into generic cells. And then it's going to pull up all these images that we can pull and drop and drag over there. I'm just going to grab this regular cancer cell and pull it over here. I know that's a regular cancer cell because it just says more colors, that little icon here in the corner. If you see this purple icon, that's a grouped icon. And let's see, we'll grab one of those. So this is a large tumor. We'll put that over there. So as we're looking at this regular one, I can highlight the blue box. And that allows me to have some control over this, make the size, or I can change the color over here. Maybe I need it to be green for some reason. Or I can see all these colors. Maybe it needs to be purple. If I want the nucleus to be a different color than the rest, because it's a regular icon, I really have to use this to change the color. So I could fill that in with any color over here. So then you can do each layer that way if you want. If you have a grouped icon, so it's going to move the whole group together unless you get in here and double click. And then now I have one icon highlighted. Now I can actually drag that thing out and let it be showing that, or I can leave it where it was. And you can see when it has in there, the little red lines are trying to help me line it up so that it'll line up to other things on the page. And that usually helps you find the center of the page if that's what you want. And then I can highlight that individual one and change just the one. Or if I leave it all grouped, because see, I can see all those little individuals, or I can exit the group and I can change the whole color at once if I want to do that to maybe blue. So those are the kind of the difference between a regular icon and a group icon. And I'm just going to keep going unless somebody has a question. I'm pretty informal, so shout out. Okay. So then I'm going to get over here and we're going to look at our next thing. We're going to look at our brushes. And so to get to the brushes, I'm going to use this menu on the side. And these are pretty cool. I'm just going to grab this and stick it over here. And because it has this icon, sometimes when you start looking at different things, because they also call the word icon. So this little image is what I'm really referring to there. When you search for something, you might have grouped images, regular images, brushes, all come up in your search. But this brush is really nice. Whenever you see you have the little white node there, you can bend it. And then the blue nodes allow you to stretch it out. So let me do that from this screen. So I'm going to click right here and I can pull that and it can keep making it. If I need to have it even run off the edge of the screen, I can do that. If I need it to move, I can pull it around and then it will put in another white icon and I can pull that around. However, I need that to be maneuvered. And so that's one good thing about that. Okay, and then I'm going to get into another one just so we can see some differences here. I'm going to bring this over here.
These students have it easy now.
I know.
Make membrane one circle at a time, right?
So this allows me, I just have highlighted it. I can pick a different color if I want. Maybe we'll go with green. And then I can make it pull out, or I can make it pull down, or I can even bend it in the center. And see, this one doesn't look great, but when I let go, it fixes itself. So don't feel bad if you're pulling something around and you think, oh, now it's going to look horrible. It will automatically, that's what the brush indicates. It will automatically fix itself, make it look all smooth. So, You know what, I did forget to do something here in the regular icon, so I'm gonna go back there, and I'm just gonna do some searching, here. And I'm gonna put in DNA, and this little one will show up. I'm gonna pull that over. I'm gonna move this guy out of the way. And then I'm going to get another one. So maybe I need to marry these two together. They're two separate ones right now, but I'm gonna put it together. But maybe I need it to be a little bit bigger. So now I've got it lined up, and you can see when I kind of get close, it helps me line in. And then I can just match the width, and it's gonna be pretty close. And then I can then highlight both of these and push on a Windows control. I think that's the Mac button on a MacBook. And so I'm gonna highlight this one. So I need the blue to be highlighted there. So I'm gonna get it and then get that. And then I'm gonna go up here and group them. So now it's pink, and I can pick it up anywhere and it will move all together. If I didn't group it, I would have to move each piece. So I think that that's really good. And then we're gonna go on to our arrows. So I thought this was a cool part. Maybe it's not as pivotal, but you can see all of these as you're trying to label different things. And I thought the arrows were nice. You can have like a swooping arrow, and you can just drop it in, or you can have a curved arrow, and you can just drop it in. So I've highlighted it, and wherever I end up with my cursor is where it will really land. Now these still allow you to pull, drag, move whatever you need to do around. And then even this one that is a circular arrow, you can put it in. And I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna make it just a little bit bigger so maybe we can see. I'll move that over. And so when I have this highlighted, it is gonna allow me to see the white node here allows me to cut it. So I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna highlight that image again. And usually it allows me. Let me try one more time. Maybe not. I think when I clicked out, it won't let me, but we might also be able to use our shapes to have text, so that if you were trying to label a cycle, you could put in the 1, and then you can put in another 1, but you'd have to change this to a 2. So I just changed that by exiting the text. So some of that is double clicking and single clicking, and you just kind of play around with it until you get it. So I thought that was useful as well. Okay, so that is some basics that I have kind of addressed with you. Let's go ahead and go to our next thing. We're gonna now do our creating a figure from a template.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Cynthia. So it says up there, get to PowerPoint again. So is this to export into PowerPoint or?
So I have not seen that that works for tech. Tech doesn't allow the add-on for PowerPoint, but I think this right now is kind of being adapted across campus. So I think that will really come in probably maybe even this fall season. But whenever I try to add it in, it sends you to Microsoft to get the add-in. And when you get the add-in, then TTU doesn't allow it to be added into PowerPoint.
Oh, because of our Microsoft license or something?
Something's breaking there. I might explore that with IT. Maybe they just don't know to turn it on, and we can do that. So that doesn't go as quite smooth, because when I saw the demonstration, maybe you've done this, when you add in the PowerPoint, then you can edit it here, and it will automatically update your PowerPoint. Once you get in the PowerPoint and say update, it pulls it all across. You don't have to export it, because I'm going to show you how to export it and upload it, and that's how you would get around that point right now. Okay. All right, so now we're going to create a figure from a template. So I'm just going to get up here again and do some searching. I'm going to do tissue prep. And we're gonna be in the templates actually. And then I'm just gonna grab this one, and you see when I highlight over them, you can see the one that I'm looking at, and I'm gonna click on it. It's gonna bring it up to a big one. I'm gonna add it to the canvas, or I can replace the canvas. If you find this and you don't have one empty, you can just replace what's on your canvas. And so here it is. And so really nice things here. Let's say I'm not really working with a liver, but maybe I'm working with a brain. So it is in a grouped icon right now, but I'm gonna double click and get that just to the liver. And I'm gonna delete that. And I'm going to come and search now for an icon. I'm gonna do brain. And let's see this one. And I'm gonna put it in here. And I'm gonna make it big enough to see where I want it to be. And now we think it is kind of hiding the arrow and the knife and the slice. So I'm just gonna right click, and then I'm gonna put it under arrange. I'm gonna send it all the way to the back. And so now all those things are laying on top of it. The other nice thing is, I don't think this brain really matches the sample color, so I'm gonna look in here.
I have a question.
Yep.
So, can you use some keys, for example, Control Z, Control C, Control V when we are working in the slide? Can
Yes.
you use those?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was using that at my house,
Yeah.
my desk, but I wasn't doing that here. But yeah, control, copy, cut,
It works.
yeah. So
So the has so many steps, can we animate it?
I haven't seen that you can
Probably
animate
in
in here.
PowerPoint, probably in
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Yeah. But so I was just saying here that we could take the different color of brain. I think this one kind of matches our sample a little bit better, so I'm gonna go with that. You can even highlight the equipment that you're using and change its color. Maybe y'all have this in the lab instead of the other one, if that's what you want to do. So I think they really tried to guess at what we might need and then really allow you to edit it, except for the animation maybe. So, okay, so then the next one we're gonna do is we're gonna create a slide from scratch. So let me kind of get my canvas back in the center.
The undergrads would like playing with this, right? Guys?
Yes.
I think more Miriam, right?
Excited.
Miriam said she'll do our
Something
figures
extra.
if you want to do
I'm
it.
excited. I can just make figure for everybody.
Okay, so for this, I think we're gonna look for a chromosome. I may not be hitting anything that y'all use in your lab, but these are just things that kind of stood out to me that I thought was interesting. So you can see all different kinds of things. And I'm just gonna grab this one and I put it in here. I'm gonna pull it over here. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. And then I might need to put in a title to this slide. So I can come up here, and if you push on the drop down, it allows you to have different things already set to different fonts or to sizes. So I'm gonna use the heading, and I'm gonna put that in here, and I'm gonna say place, title, here. But now it's wrapped around, I don't want that, so I'm gonna get in here and drag it out, maybe scooch it up a little bit. Then we can put another subheading here. So you can do place subheading here. And drag that around. And then it's gonna allow me to snap that into place with the one above it. So that is really nice, it's all lined up. Maybe I want to put in a shape to do some cool things here. I'm gonna put it here, but I'm gonna turn it around and I can just automatically turn it. And it helps you align it so it's not off. Like in PowerPoint, I feel like you're
PowerPoint
off
is,
just a little bit.
Yeah, oh,
But
yeah.
here, it really tries to help you line it up. And then I'm gonna make it a little bit thinner and a little bit shorter. And then I'm gonna smack it in line here. It's allowing me to be at the top of the title and align with the other. So I can see that. But now this one is kind of light blue. It's not really the scheme of what I'm doing. So I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna click on the fill and I'm gonna click the color picker And now I'm gonna use the other item that's already on the screen that I need as the color. So I can do that again quickly for the other, so it'll be the same. And so that just makes it a little bit nicer there. And then, let's go ahead and look at some icons here. We're gonna look at some DNA here, and I just thought it might be interesting to grab something like this. It's already grouped. We can pull it over here, line it up with the top of that image. We can make this a little bit bigger. We might really need a call out to describe what's happening now on the screen. You can just search for call outs, and I'm gonna grab this one. I'm gonna put it over here. And then I'm gonna really take this and move it around so that we can have it lined up for that. Scooch it in here, pull it over. So it may take you a minute to do a few things, but I mean, I don't know about y'all, but in PowerPoint, it takes me a lot longer to get to this point. And
Because you have the templates already.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and a lot of the images that you can just,
Images.
yeah, use. And so then, maybe I need this to be moved in a slightly different place. So I can just move it itself, or I can move this and pull it out. And then it will drag that together, and I can put that one in there again. There. Calling that out, and then I might really have a label for something small that's highlighted here to go across. And you can use some of that, the other tools there too. Like sometimes not necessarily an arrow, but a single dot might be a better place to get to the right little thing that you're really trying to highlight. So I'm gonna pull that in the center. Probably pretty tiny for it. Let me line up so that. Pretty easy to slide in there. And so then you can make that as a label. So those are just some, I mean, I think I was playing with that maybe 2 minutes, and you've already got a really great graphic. So, okay, let's keep on moving. I think we want to look at back in the gallery. Well, so it's automatically saving. I don't have to do anything to save it. It's thinking about it because we saved quite a bit to this. It's not just this slide, but other slides. And go back. There we go. So a few things that we might look around, and whenever you open last is what's going to be up here at the front. You can, this is another slide that I thought was interesting, because at one point y'all were using mice. Do y'all still use mice? And so then you can click on the individual mouse and pick a different color if that's what you need to do. Or you can actually have different pieces, you know, be different parts. You can be transparent or solid, however you want to address that. I'm going to put him back to white because we're going to use him in something else. But then I can exit the group, and now it's kind of saved. So there's lots of mice in here, lots of different images of mice. So you can definitely, I think, use that in y'all's lab for sure. And then I'm going to go back to our gallery one more time, because now I'm kind of done with inside this presentation, but we have the two other options. So illustration is where you start, and that's where you can do your presenting with the slides. That's how I built this item, and so I will share that around. But then let's go ahead and look at some of these other tools that are listed here. I'm going to get us into the graph first, and this is really nice because it has some things already built in for the information. So if you have one independent variable, two independent variables, a linear regression, and so let's try 2 variables, and then I'm going to say create that.
Oh, there's analysis too?
Yeah, and so then here is your data set, and you can clearly change whatever whatever is sitting in here. We're just going to use the information that they have already. But you could clearly put your variables there and your results, and so you could build this. So then now I'm gonna go ahead and look at the graph. And so this graph has really automatically put in the information here. We have male and female, and we have the X title and the Y title. So you can click on this and change it. So, and if you don't want the legend on, you can turn that off. You can turn it back on. You can label the whole graph. You can make some different options here, multicolor, some different options of colors. We're not going to go through all the colors, but I think you can see how you can manipulate this if you wanted to. Now, on a larger screen, you actually can see down here. Oh, here it is. You can run the analysis here, or you can add an analysis over here. So I'm just going to run the analysis, and then it's going to prompt me. Do you want me to compare column A and B, or do you want me to compare 1 or 2? We're going to do the two-way here. And then it also allows me to pick some other things here. I can compare all the groups.
It's like graph pad.
It's not just doing research on it, but not doing everything.
No, it does. Yes.
Yeah, and then it actually has built-in tests here, so you can use any of these depending on what you've chosen up above.
Have you used it, Ashley?
No, I don't.
Does everything to get the data.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get the data. Okay, so now I'm gonna run.
It even has the data. You don't even have to do experiments.
But then it has a very nice layout to put into a report or a presentation, whatever part you want to. You would just export that, and you can get that all around.
No.
Okay, y'all seem excited about that.
Oh, right there.
That's
We're
good.
paying for
Yeah,
another
yeah.
software to do the
Oh, you are?
graph pad. You
Oh, no, I don't know that one. It's called GraphPad.
Prism
Oh,
graph pad.
Graph. No, but I'm looking
That's
for
very interesting.
but I haven't seen the GraphPad yet.
That's part of the company. I guess.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how we would export some things. So I'm gonna export this because if we can't add into PowerPoint, this is the steps you're gonna have to do. So I'm just gonna export this graph. I'm gonna click on here, and then it's gonna allow me to pick some things. It's gonna allow me to pick if it's a JPEG or a PDF or a PNG. If you're gonna put it into PowerPoint, I recommend the PNG. If you're gonna hand it out, I put it in the PDF. So I figure y'all know a lot of that. Maybe you're gonna do something else with it. You might need the SVG. So if it's going on a website or something. I'm just gonna do it in the PNG, and then you can have a transparent background, which might be nice if you're in a dark slide set. Then it would allow it to sit there with not the white. But if you don't care, then that's fine. And then you can pick your DPI, which means your resolution. And so you need to be at least 300, maybe more, depending on what you're gonna do with it. So then now I'm gonna say, export that. And so it just put it up into my browser because I'm in Chrome. And it allows me to also, oh, I should have showed y'all that. Let me do that real quick. Because I think I blew past that. No. Sometimes it allows you to have an icon here that allows you to say, I need a creative license for that image. And so we'll look at something else. I think the PowerPoint gives you the license, and I mean, the poster. I should have said poster. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that, but then I'm going to get back into my gallery, because then I'm going to upload that image so that we can use it in a different place. Yeah.
And when we export the image, can we change it later on in PowerPoint, or we need to come here and change and export again?
You know, I haven't really played with that. I think PowerPoint would just see it as an image, and it would never let you see that again.
So if you want to change, you need to go back here
And export it again. Unless you have the PowerPoint embed.
Uh-huh.
Then that
which is-
allows
yeah.
you to change right in PowerPoint.
You can work on your PowerPoint.
Because how many of us are changing that PowerPoint right until we're presenting? I do it all the time. I'm like, stop. But so if you have that, you could do it on the fly. But if not, you would have to really be exporting it and then putting it back into PowerPoint. So it's a lot more tedious.
That's
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. Let's see, I think in my folders. Let's see, thinking about that. Oh wait, I bet you have to do it in a different place. Okay, and then let's go ahead and look at my poster, and that's where I'm gonna pull it back in. So the poster build is right here. It's the third option underneath that menu. And when you get in there, you're gonna see the posters that I can see. And so you can make it landscape, portrait, square. You can look at the TTU ones. That's the one I've been playing with mostly. And they have these two. And I'm just gonna grab this one unless anybody has, they prefer the other one. And then I'm gonna use this template. And it has like all the logos and all that good stuff. But what I love about this, I don't know how many of y'all have ever been doing a poster and PowerPoint on a template like this. Sometimes you just need another line for your references or your discussion. Then you have to move everything. This automatically does it for you. You just move it and it moves the whole thing. Yeah, so it's a lot nicer. If we need the images to be a little bit bigger at the bottom, it just automatically. And it has a caption for every image. Yeah, so that is super nice. So let's go ahead and put in some images here from what we've looked at today. It automatically look at the things that I have built in here and pull it through. So I'm going to use the mice and put them down here. But we built that graph and it's not sitting here. So what are we going to do about that? Well, now we're going to upload it. So that's the only thing that I think is a little weird, that I built a graph in here and it doesn't display over here. So now I'm going to upload that graph file that I just made. It's probably in our downloads. Here it is. I didn't even title it, guys. Sorry about that. And then it is here. So then you can see how easy that was to get everything aligned. Let's say I think that this is not doing good here. I can't even come in here and automatically reposition it. So I know it's quite tiny. I don't know if y'all can see, but I think I can drag that out just a little bit so my numbers are better. And then I can say done and everything is still there. So
can you import from PPT an image or not? Or
yeah,
or a slide or something?
Yeah, I think you could if you really wanted to like put all your references over there and export from PowerPoint a single slide. Yeah, as an image, then you could upload it just like I did. Yeah, so you would have to also do that as an image into there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think you could import that and let that drop into references. You could copy the text from there and pull it over. Yeah. So. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that we wanted to look at. I think that is mostly what I was going to cover. I'm going to put us back in the gallery one more time. We can look at all the templates that they have here. So these are just a few listed here, but you can see all the templates. If we just kind of scroll through here, you can see lots of different kinds of things. There's mice in here, there's brains in here, there's plants in here. So, I mean, lots of different things that I think you can be searching for and finding and using. Is there anything in here that we want to talk about more or less, or something you might have been confused on as we were moving through? Please ask any question that you want.
I think you probably just need to
Play now, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of information and a lot of different menus for some reason. That's one thing it's not my favorite, but
So
yeah.
I do have a question. Is there somewhere what kind of analysis? Because I didn't know that was doing that. What kind of analysis? Is there a like inventory or list of what statistical analysis it does or not?
Just those three, I think,
Just
well, the ones that we have the option for. So the two variables had those three. We could go back and look at the, let's go into graphs. That's where we'll need to be. And
That I was not aware it was doing.
oh, sorry, I need to go back to new. Let me go back to my gallery. Here we are. You need a new graph. And that has just been added to for this product, so I think they're gonna add something. Because also, maybe you're using
Oh,
as,
something.
yes, and you can tell them, look, I really use this one.
Oh,
Can you add
can
it?
you type three-way ANOVA? Just curious.
Nova,
ANOVA, ANOVA.
yes, and then I'll submit it, let's see what happens. So the one
Oh, thanks
is,
for the feedback.
yeah.
They
it
will
has-
work on it.
Yeah, they'll work on it. And then, so these are the ones that they're listing here for the one. These are the listing for the two, the linear regression, and then just a dose response. Yeah, and then something else. And so maybe we'll get the three-way pretty soon. So. And then we'll be back in the gallery here. And that's kind of main page there. Okay. Oh, I was gonna let us collaborate a little bit too. So let me get in here and I'll add the collaboration. So I'm just opening that, I'm gonna call it a slide deck. And when you click share, I'll add y'all in so y'all can immediately, it will be in y'all's accounts. That's you, right? Okay. And send that.
There was only one zoo at Texas Tech.
And then. I know
That
that's
I know, there
you.
was no one with that name.
It must be
Cynthia Henry, I
nice.
don't know.
Yes, because sometimes I get told, oh, you have a ticket. I'm like, I don't have a ticket. Let's figure this out. So it must be nice to be the only one. So now everybody can see this deck and in the two accounts y'all have. So if y'all start playing around, you can look through my slides and see if you need help.
So I have a question, and I don't know, you may or may not have looked
Okay.
into this, because now we're going to have accounts that everybody is using. So please make sure to be specific titles, because I assume, so do you save it in your desktop or?
Yeah, so when you export it, you can
You can
save
save
it,
it.
yeah.
Make sure to save, because you cannot hold others liable if, something disappears.
Gets
So when you
changed.
make anything, save it, put it in your folder. You can leave things there if you want, but make sure to save. And I don't think there is a limit on.
Yeah, and so
You can, but you
see
can
this.
save under the
Yes.
the file. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you save
so
it.
this is all the stuff that I've been saving. And so you create new folders, so each of you might want to have your own folder.
Yeah.
And then that way you would maybe not
That's a
change.
good idea.
Yeah. So, and then the shared files, that's where y'all will see mine will be under y'all's shared files when you get into the thing.
And we may want to have maybe shared files that could be used in, for example, we use mice or people say if you find things that are useful to everyone, you can put them at the share. And so everyone can use it, that saves time.
Yes.
But yeah, I think creating a folder for each person under your name is probably best way, but then save it under server external drive so that you have backup copies as well.
That's a smart idea. And then if you're in here and you're just totally lost, they have a good learning hub and you can kind of learn the 101 is in here, the 4 ways to align objects, different kinds of things. So if you're really having a hard time getting something to do. So I really think this is a newer tool. And so I think it's gonna grow a lot. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for having me, unless anybody has any questions.